What if I told you there's one small habit, one that most people overlook, that could completely change the way you age? Think about it. We've all met people in their 70s or 80s who are still sharp, active, and full of joy. And we've seen others at the same age slowing down, fading into background, quietly giving up on a life they once loved. So what's the difference? In this video, we're going to explore 5 golden habits that don't just help you live longer, they help you live better. And the very first habit we'll talk about might really surprise you. I ignored it for years until I saw what it did for someone close to me. His name is George. Stick with me until the end. One of these habits could be the missing piece you've been searching for. And if any part of this video resonates with you, a quick like would mean a lot. It helps me keep sharing real-life stories about growing older with strength, peace, and joy. Let's begin with something most of us don't think about until it's gone: our strength. You might be surprised by how much power you still have, no matter your age. Let me tell you about George. George was 73 when he took a small fall in the kitchen. Just a quick slip while reaching for a cup on the top shelf. The fall didn't seem serious at the time, but what happened afterward changed everything. He moved slower. He avoided stairs. He hesitated before getting in the shower. Slowly, he stopped doing the things he once enjoyed. The fall didn't just bruise his body, it shook his confidence. One morning, his daughter noticed a change. She handed him 2 water bottles and said, "We're going to start small." That was the beginning. 5 slow squats every morning, then wall push-ups, then light arm lifts. At first, George wasn't thrilled. His knees hurt, and he felt awkward. But after a few weeks, everything started to shift. He stood up straighter. He walked with more confidence. And maybe most importantly, he smiled again. This wasn't some miracle. It was muscle. Most people think strength training is only for bodybuilders or the young. But the truth is, once you hit 60, your body naturally starts losing muscle, a process called sarcopenia. If you don't do anything about it, this leads to weakness, slower movement, and a higher risk of falls, one of the most common causes of injury among older adults. But here's the good news: you can fight back. A 2022 study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that adults over 60 who did strength training at least twice a week had up to a 20% lower risk of early death. That's not just more years, that's more energy, more freedom, more life. And you don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. Strength training can start right at home. Just like George, you can use what you already have. Try this. Stand up from a chair slowly, without using your hands. Then sit back down. Do that 5 times. Or stand facing a wall and do 10 gentle push-ups. Even lifting a can of soup 10 times with each arm can wake your muscles back up. These small moves improve balance and bring back strength. They also boost your posture, metabolism, and bone health. Strength training can even help with sleep and lift your mood. Every rep sends a message to your body: I'm still here. I'm still strong. If it's been a long time since you've exercised, that's okay. Start slow, just a few minutes a day. Add a little more when you're ready. Listen to your body. And of course, talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. You don't have to become a bodybuilder. The goal is simple: to stay steady, independent, and confident. 3 months into his new routine, George joined a community garden. "I just wanted to carry my own tools again," he said. And he did. If this story reminds you of your own journey, or gives you hope to start one, share your thoughts in the comments. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. And if this first habit helped, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more people find this message. The weight of age doesn't have to pull you down. With just a little strength, you can rise again, one small step at a time. Now that we've talked about rebuilding strength, let's shift to something a bit more familiar, but just as powerful. It's simple, it's free, and you've been doing it your whole life, but maybe not enough. Let's talk about walking. Helen and David have been married for 52 years. Every single morning, rain or shine, they walk together around their neighborhood. It's not a fast or fancy walk, just a peaceful loop past the park, the bakery, and back home. Sometimes they hold hands. Sometimes they talk. Other times, They walk in comfortable silence. But what that simple habit has done for their health and their relationship, it's anything but simple. Walking is one of the most overlooked yet powerful habits we have. No gym, no gear, no complicated moves. Just step after step, it strengthens your heart, clears your mind, lifts your mood, and protects your body. According to Harvard Medical School, walking just 20 to 30 minutes a day can reduce your risk of heart disease by up to 40%. Imagine that. Nearly cutting the risk in half just by putting one foot in front of the other. And that's just a start. Walking helps regulate blood sugar, lowers blood pressure, improves digestion, and boosts circulation. It also reduces stiffness in your joints and can ease arthritis symptoms when done regularly. But walking isn't just good for your body, it's good for your soul. For Helen and David, those quiet walks are more than exercise. They're moments to connect. Before the day gets busy, before the world starts buzzing, they're together. That calm connection, that's healing too. Even if you're walking alone, you're never really alone. You're spending time with yourself, with your thoughts, with the world around you. The sound of the breeze, the way sunlight hits the leaves, the steady rhythm of your own steps. It's all a gentle reminder. I'm still here. I'm still moving. The best part? Walking is easy to start. You don't need to hit 10,000 steps on day one. Just put on some comfortable shoes and walk for 5 minutes, around the block, to the end of the hallway, out to your garden. And tomorrow, try 6. It's not about speed. It's about consistency. Got a neighbor or friend who also wants to stay active? Invite them. A walking buddy makes it more fun. Laughter, stories, shared steps. Some of the best conversations don't happen face to face. They happen side by side. No pressure, just presence. Walking also does wonders for your mental health. It releases endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. It lowers stress by reducing cortisol, clears mental fog, and even boosts creativity. Some therapists even suggest daily walking as part of treating anxiety or mild depression. And the best part? No side effects, only side benefits. Of course, motivation can dip. Maybe it's cold outside. Maybe your knees ache. Maybe the bed feels just too cozy. In those moments, I remember something a friend once told me. You don't have to feel like going. You just have to go. And 5 minutes in, you're usually glad you did. So if you're watching this and thinking, it's been a while, then maybe today is your day. You don't have to go far. You just have to go. And if walking is already part of your life, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me, where do your steps take you? And while you're here, if this message feels meaningful, go ahead and hit subscribe. We got more stories, more wisdom, and more real conversations coming your way. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Your feet already know the way. Trust them. Walk toward your health. Walk toward clarity. Walk back to yourself. Now that your body is moving, let's shift gears and focus on what's going on inside. Because what you eat doesn't just affect your body, it fuels your mind. And in the next habit, we'll explore how food choices can help you stay sharp, focused, and mentally strong. When I visited my friend Robert in his new assisted living apartment, something on his table caught my eye. A little notebook titled in neat handwriting, Brain Food. Inside it was a grocery list. Blueberries, spinach, olive oil, walnuts, salmon. I don't want to lose myself, Robert told me softly. I may be slower these days, but I want my mind to stay clear. He was absolutely right to focus on that. The food we eat doesn't just nourish our bodies, it powers our brains. And as we get older, that matters even more. Our brains become more sensitive to things like inflammation and oxidative stress over time. These can slowly eat away at memory and mental clarity. But the good news is some foods can actually protect your brain and help it stay strong. One of the best strategies for this? It's called the MIND diet, which stands for Mediterranean-Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. It blends two proven eating patterns, the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. According to the National Institute on Aging, people who follow the MIND diet consistently can cut their risk of Alzheimer's by up to 53%. And even if they don't follow it perfectly, their risk still drops by over 30%. That's powerful. So, what's on Robert's list and what should be on yours? Start with leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. They're full of folate, vitamin K, and antioxidants, all crucial for brain health. Add in berries, especially blueberries and strawberries. They're packed with natural compounds that protect brain cells and support memory. Eat fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel at least once or twice a week. They're rich in omega-3s, which reduce inflammation in the brain. Choose whole grains like oats and brown rice, which give your brain a steady stream of energy. Include nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, often called a brain nut for good reason. And make olive oil your go-to fat instead of butter. It's full of anti-inflammatory benefits and works beautifully drizzled on salads or cooked veggies. But just as important as what you add to your plate is what you cut back on. Processed foods loaded with sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats are linked to faster cognitive decline. Things like sodas, frozen meals, chips, and baked goods may taste good in the moment, but over time, they cloud your thinking and drain your energy. Robert used to love a slice of cake in the evening while watching TV. He chuckled as he told me, "A little cake with my show." But once his doctor explained the sugar-memory connection, he started swapping it for a handful of nuts and some apple slices. "I still get my crunch and sweetness," he said, "but now my head feels clearer." And don't forget about hydration. It's often overlooked, but incredibly important for mental sharpness. As we age, we don't feel thirst as easily, but our need for water stays the same. Dehydration can lead to confusion, fatigue, and headaches. It makes focusing harder. So, sip water throughout the day. If plain water isn't appealing, try herbal tea or add slices of lemon, mint, or cucumber for flavor. Avoid sugary juices and sodas. They do more harm than good. Eating for brain health doesn't mean giving up everything you love. It means gently shifting your habits. Add berries to breakfast. Switch from white bread to whole grain. Swap red meat for fish once a week. Small steps, steady change. And if this part of the message has helped you think differently about food, even just a little, tap that like button. It might help someone else discover the power of mindful eating. 2. More than anything, remember this. Food isn't just fuel. It's memory. It's clarity. It's what helps you remember names, faces, and your favorite stories. Eat not just to live. Eat to stay yourself. Now that we've nourished the body and the mind, let's talk about something that touches the heart, connection. Because no matter how strong your muscles are, or how sharp your mind is, life begins to feel hollow without people to share it with. In our next habit, we'll explore how staying connected isn't just emotional. It's essential to your well-being. Bill was 80 years old when his wife Mary Ann passed away. After nearly 60 years together, the silence left behind was unbearable. The house that once echoed with laughter and morning chatter suddenly felt cold and hollow. Bill stopped going to the community center. He turned down visits from old friends. The days began to blend together. His morning coffee sat untouched. The television played, but he wasn't really watching. He wasn't living, just existing. Everything changed one weekend when his granddaughter came to visit. "Grandpa," she said gently, "will you come with me to the senior dance at the church?" At first, he hesitated, but then he looked into her eyes and saw something familiar. Warmth, hope, maybe even a little bit of Mary Ann. So he said yes. That night, Bill combed his hair, put on his jacket, and stepped into a room filled with music and laughter. Someone handed him cider. Someone else invited him to dance. And something inside him began to shift. Bill started living again. Loneliness isn't just a sad feeling. It's a serious threat to our health, especially as we age. Long-term isolation can lead to heart disease, depression, dementia, and even a shorter lifespan. A 2023 study from the University of Utah found that older adults with strong social connections were up to 50% more likely to live longer than those who were isolated. Connection is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. But here's the thing. Life has a way of shrinking our circles. Retirement, health issues, kids moving away, or the loss of a spouse can create long, quiet days that eventually turn into walls. The good news is, those walls can come down. You don't need to dive into crowded rooms or noisy events. Connection can begin with something small. A phone call to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. A visit to a local book club or gardening group. Saying yes to an invite. Volunteering once a week. Smiling at a neighbor. Each small action is a thread, and threads woven together create the fabric of community. I remember Carol, 74, who told me she hadn't spoken to another human in 3 days until she joined a neighborhood quilting group. I didn't even know how much I needed people, she said. Not until I laughed again. Even technology can help when used wisely. A simple video chat with grandchild, a group message with old coworkers, an online class about something you love, films, art, history, nature. Connection doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. And no, you don't need to be outgoing. You just need to be willing. Connection isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being seen, being heard, feeling valued. Think of someone you've lost touch with. Maybe it's time to reach out. Just a short call, a text, how have you been? And if you, like Bill or Carol, have found your way back from loneliness, please share your story in the comments. You never know who it might encourage. Let me say this clearly. You still matter. Your voice still matters. Your memories, your laughter, your questions, your presence. They all belong somewhere. Don't let silence tell you otherwise. If this part of the video touched something in you, consider sharing it with someone you care about. Maybe they need the reminder that they're not alone, that they're missed. That connection is still possible. Because life isn't meant to be lived in silence. It's meant to be shared. So keep talking, keep reaching, keep showing up. There's still joy to be found, and people who need you just as much as you need them. Now, let's take one final step together. We've talked about strength, movement, nourishment, and connection. But there's one last habit, quiet, simple, and often neglected, that ties them all together. Let's talk about sleep and how it may be the most powerful form of self-care you have. Sleep. It sounds so simple, right? Just close your eyes, drift off, and wake up refreshed. But as we age, good sleep often becomes harder to find. Maybe you fall asleep easily, but wake up at 3 a.m. and can't get back to sleep. Maybe your body feels tired, but your mind keeps racing. Or maybe the night just drags on and morning comes too soon. Whatever the case, here's what most people forget. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a foundation. Sleep is a time your body repairs, your brain resets, and your heart finds rest. Without it, every other habit we talked about, eating well, walking, connecting, building strength, gets harder. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that during deep sleep, your brain clears out waste proteins, including beta amyloid, the same substance linked to Alzheimer's disease. Without enough sleep, these proteins build up, and over time, they can damage memory and cognitive function. But the effects go beyond the brain. Poor sleep is tied to high blood pressure, heart disease, depression, and weakened immunity. It can even lead to weight gain because it disrupts the hormones that regulate hunger, making you crave sugar and processed food the next day. Still, many older adults believe that sleeping poorly is just part aging. I guess I just don't need as much sleep anymore, they say, but that's not true. While sleep patterns do change with age, our need for deep quality sleep remains the same. Most adults still need 7 to 8 hours each night to function at their best. So, how can you sleep better? Start by creating a routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body loves rhythm. Make bedtime peaceful. Turn down the lights. Do something calming, like reading, stretching, or listening to gentle music. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed. Phones and TVs emit blue light that tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Watch your caffeine. That afternoon coffee might still be in your system by bedtime. Switch to water or herbal tea later in the day. Turn your bedroom into a sleep sanctuary. Keep it cool, quiet, and dark. Use comfortable bedding. Let in fresh air. And if you tend to watch the clock, try turning it away so you're not tempted to count the hours. If your mind won't slow down, try journaling for 5 minutes before bed. Write down anything that's bothering you. One woman I knew, Jeanette, had a lovely habit she called tucking in her worries. Every night, she'd write down whatever was on her mind, fold the paper, put it in a drawer and whisper, "Not tonight." And then she'd sleep. It didn't solve everything, but it helped. If you've been struggling with sleep for a while, you're not alone, and you shouldn't ignore it. Talk to your doctor. Sometimes poor sleep is caused by medications, pain, or other issues that can be treated. Never underestimate the power of a good night's rest. It clears your thoughts. It heals your body. It brightens your mood. It gives you the energy to live fully, not just survive, but thrive. If you picked up a new tip today that you might try tonight, consider sharing this video with someone else who might be tossing and turning too, because rest isn't weakness, it's wisdom. We've walked through 5 habits today, each simple on the surface, but incredibly powerful in your daily life. We saw George slowly regaining his strength, Helen and David walking together every morning, Robert choosing blueberries over brain fog, Bill dancing his way back to life, Jeanette whispering her worries into peace. These habits don't ask for youth, perfection, or luck. They ask for one thing: your attention, your willingness to show up for yourself. Because aging doesn't have to be about fading away. When you live with intention, aging becomes a return to your body, your mind, your people, your peace. Now the choice is yours. Pick just one habit from today. Maybe it's 5 minutes of stretching, a short walk around the block, a call to a friend, a handful of walnuts instead of cookies, or go to bed a little earlier tonight. Start there. Begin. If even one part of this video touched you, helped you, or gave you something to think about, please give it a like. It helps this message reach others who might be quietly struggling. 2. Know someone who needs a gentle reminder that they still have time to live well? Send this to them. And if you'd like to walk this journey of growing stronger and wiser with me, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more stories, more tips, and more encouragement coming your way. Because the habits we choose now, they aren't just about adding years to life. They're about adding life to those years. Live long, live wise, and take gentle care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.